Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. No. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means. It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop Amazon for all your gifting needs.
All right. Welcome back. It's Fit Nation. All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation. If you are feeling overwhelmed or floating towards the darkness, do not hesitate to phone a friend. If you are embarrassed that you are having a difficult time, call the Veteran Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. That's 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Again, as we have told you many times over the last year, do not make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are new, thanks for joining. And be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast apps. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, _Misfit Nation. That's _Misfit Nation. So you'll stay up to date on all of our episodes as they release, while also having the opportunity to getting to hear the stories of our amazing guests. Speaking of which, our next guest wears many hats to fulfill the call God has placed on her life. As an entrepreneur over several businesses, including her own personal brand, Rejoice Essentials, which promotes the gospel of Jesus Christ. She also serves as a life coach and mentor to many women. She is also a loving mother of 2 children. She is married to Tron. She has dedicated her life to the work of ministry and to serve others under the call God has placed over her. And she currently resides in South Carolina. So without further ado, let's welcome to the Misfit Nation, author Kimberly Moses. How are you, Kimberly?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on your platform and share with you today.
Awesome. We're glad to have you here. I'm glad the internet world is able to get us connected. Otherwise, we'd probably just walk right past each other and not know each other. And this gives us a chance to see each other, and maybe by chance we see each other in real life, we'll be able to give each other a high five and say, hello, how are you?
Yes.
So Kimberly, if you don't mind, if you'd like to just tell us a little bit about yourself from as far back as you want to go to where we are now.
Yeah, so I am a publisher. I'm an author of 47 books. I'm a full-time minister. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a beauty business as well as a publishing company. I love to cook. Recently, me and my husband, we lost about 40 pounds. So I'm now doing a keto lifestyle journey. I'm really excited about that. I used to be an exotic dancer, and I like the title The Misfit because it's like, that whole thing. I used to run away from home. I was just a really bad child, but I thank God for my deliverance. I almost died a few times. One time I tried to rob someone and they put a gun to me, but it was crazy. Wow. And then I almost got in a car accident. I did get in a car accident, and that was the most traumatic experience. So getting in a car accident, that's when I got saved and gave my life to Jesus. And I sat in church for like 10 years and I didn't know my purpose in life. And then one day I went through a traumatic experience. Like my first marriage didn't work out. And then I just got pushed into what I'm doing now. I found out who I was. I started preaching and, writing books. And it just like that traumatic experience brought out purpose. The pain brought out purpose for me. Instead of me being depressed, I just began to draw closer to God, and God helped me through that. And I feel like I went too fast. So if you want to ask me more, then, we can, yeah.
You're doing good. 47 books. That's a lot of books. And how often do you put them out?
Yeah, so I try to write like 4 books like a year, like, try to put books out like that. I wrote my first one 2014, but in the pandemic, I was just busy. I was just so busy. So I checked my progress, and I think over this last year I wrote 17 books, just being in the pandemic, just to make myself more productive. Because
Wow.
it just, on quarantine, lockdown, couldn't go nowhere. So I was like, okay, well, let me get on the computer and start typing.
That's dedication right there. That's a lot of books. And since 2014, that's 8 years, 47 books. Are they all like long books, or are they like 100 pagers at easy reads?
Yes, they vary. Like I have some children's books. I have some nonfiction books, like prayer. Then I also have some fiction books, like I wrote a superhero book, right? And then I wrote, just different genres. I'm just trying to explore. And me and my husband are working on a cookbook. So we've been saying this for years. We're gonna get a cookbook out, but now since we're doing that keto lifestyle, we got some recipes now to help somebody.
Then you get your own cooking show and maybe start local and then go nationwide.
Oh, I'll receive it.
I don't know if you have enough time with everything else you have going on. So you started writing, then you became a publisher, so you can help yourself and help others?
Yeah, so in 2014, I wrote my first book. And I think I maybe wrote about 12 books. So around 2017, I was praying. I said, God, I need $25,000, to be able to publish all those books. I think I had 12 at the time. And then he gave me an idea to start my own company. And I never thought I could do that. So I started my own company, and I put out like maybe 2 books. And immediately a bunch of people on Facebook, it's like, oh my God, who did your book? And I said, I did it myself. And they just start coming and coming. So I really don't put out like big ads. I just put my own books, and the people just like, oh, who did your book? And I said, I did it myself. And it just keeps on drawing business. So I think like right now I got like maybe about 60 or 70, clients, authors underneath my company. And then we also have a magazine as well. So we just kind of put out, each month.
That's outstanding. And you stay so busy. I'm not sure when you sleep, because you have a lot of stuff going on, and then have 2 children and your faith with God. You go to church probably a few times a week and pray with others and do that, and along with your business. So when do you find time just for you?
Well, that's a good question. And I actually struggle with that for a while, like, putting myself on a back burner, feeling overlooked, because I always put my husband's needs first, the children's, and then it's like in ministry, being a full-time minister, it's like I never get a break. It's like 24/7. So I have to learn like to set boundaries, because people will call you on like Facebook, like 3:00 in the morning. That's like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I need prayer. And it's not like they're dying. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but it'd be like, I just need a better job. I'm like, it's 3:00 in the morning. I couldn't wait till like 9 a.m. or something, so I had to put boundaries. So I remember a season where I felt like I was burning out, and I felt just overwhelmed, but I began to, take that one day for myself, just one day a week. It's not bad, right?
No.
Just to, wind down and but I never really get a break. That's the truth.
And that's amazing. Just reading your bio and then listening to you speak, you're full of energy. So I know you had the keto diet has to be working, pumping you up full of energy. And then of course, praying that God gives you some energy as well. But there's only so much both of those can do. So please take a break every once in a while and take a check on you as you go forward.
Yes.
So you shared your testimony when you were speaking, when you gave your introduction, that you were an exotic dancer, which is taboo, which is like a misfit life. Now you're empowering young women from all walks of life. How did you get involved with dancing, and how did you stop and move to where you are now?
Yes, and I love that question. And I love empowering women, because most women feel like, especially our youth, they feel like it's all about their looks and their body, but there is an anointing. When I started living for God, God showed me I have a brain. I just remember in high school, I was like a D student. Like I barely graduated high school, because I thought everything was about, my body and my looks. But then God said, no, you have a brain, use your brain. So when I got saved, I actually became an honor roll student, which is amazing. Like, oh God, I do have a brain, So yeah, so I remember about 12 years old, my mother, we wasn't saved growing up. We was actually a Buddhist. We grew up Buddhist. So anywho, I just remember we was always watching the Jenny Jones show. I don't know if you remember that show.
Oh yeah.
She was my favorite. And she used to have these girls on there that used to be like ugly ducklings in high school, but after high school, they became like some vixens or something. And I said in my heart at 12 years old, and this is why we have to be careful of vows, the things we speak, that we said, I'm going to do this one day, because I actually did it. So at 12 years old, I remember saying, I'm going to be like her. I'm going to be a stripper, because
Wow.
she had a whole bunch of strippers on her show. So on my 18th birthday, I went down to the club and I got a job. And I did it, legally for like 3 years. And I got in a car accident. Like I remember one day I felt evil for the first time, like death, like I was going to die. And then I heard the devil speak to me. He said, you're going to die today. And I shook it off. I said, no, I'm not going to die. I'm too young, And like maybe 6 hours later, I got in this horrible car accident. But what's crazy, like 2 weeks prior to that accident, my younger sister, she just got saved. And she was on fire. You know how some people, when they first get saved, they want to tell everybody about Jesus, and it was scaring me. I was like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with Jesus. So I was running. So she gave me a Bible like, here. I was like, okay. So I was out on my way out the door. So I put this Bible on my passenger seat, drove around in the car with it for 2 weeks. And that night when the enemy spoke to me, he said, you're going to die today. And I was like, nothing going to happen. So it was just like a slow motion movie. I knew I was about to get hit by a car. It was raining so hard. I felt death again in my car, like I was about to die. And I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw this car about to hit me in slow motion. And I was like, this car cannot be that dumb to hit me when it's an empty lane beside me. So I know it was the devil trying to kill me that night, because what are the odds of that? Somebody hitting you, but it's an empty lane right there, so it was just crazy. So I remember like I had a 4-door sedan and it got smushed into a 2-door. And it had glass and CDs, all credit cards, all scattered around on the highway. And I had like piercings, because I used to be like a misfit all over, just so the piercings popped out, the eyebrow ring popped off, my braces popped off. I was like, how do your braces pop off? But my braces actually popped off. That's how much the impact was. So I thought I was dead, and I jumped out the car. And the lady that hit me, she was high. She got out the car. She said, do you have a black and mild? I was like, what? You gonna hit my car? And that's when you have a black and mild? Are you serious? But she calmed me down. And then I remember when the the firefighters always get to the accident first before like the police. So I remember the firefighter, he shook his head when he looked at the car, and he was like, wow. And then he picked up this Bible, the same Bible my sister gave me. He handed it to me. He said, here, young lady, this saved your life. So I knew it was God. So after that, I was shooken up. I said, I don't want to dance no more. I want to live right. So I went, after I healed, because I was really banged up. Like I was like in this neck brace for months. So after I healed, I went down and cleaned out my locker at that club, and I never looked back. So, but now to answer your question, because I know I probably just going too long, but to answer your question, like I can see myself, my old self in those women. And, they have to realize their self-worth. They're valuable. They have a husband out there one day that would desire them, but it's like no man will take them serious if they just let it all hang out, nothing to leave to the imagination. And they need to know that they are fearfully and wonderfully made, and God has a great plan for them. And looks aren't everything. When we get older, we may start changing, you know what I'm saying? When we get older, you may not be as beautiful as you used to be younger, So also, do you have a brain? Do you have anything established for yourself? Like, do you have something to fall back on? What happens if, you get hurt on a job? Do you have anything to rely on? So it's so much. So I just see my old self in these women. So I help them, and I always tell them my testimony, and some get delivered, some, they join my ministry, and they just start getting on fire for God.
That's outstanding. And I like how you said that they all believe it's looks, and I see it. My wife's an 8th grade teacher, so I see the kids that she teaches now. They have the same mentality now. It's a never-ending cycle. You have to be one of the cool kids in school. You have to look the best, have the best clothes, best this, best that, top of the line, everything, or you're not cool enough. And then that doesn't get you anywhere. Like you said before, you said you were so worried about your outward appearance, you weren't taking care of your brain, and you were getting D's, and you were skating by. And then all of a sudden you got that honor roll. You're like, the light came on. I am smart. I can do this. I can do that. And you are now able to share that story with young women as they're going down the wrong path, or they're worried about things that don't need to be worried about right now. And you can share that and empower them to become pillars in the community. That's great stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And that's very important too, because the enemy attacks our youth, the young children a lot. It's just crazy. Like, we have to be mindful what our children are watching and listening to, and even the kids at school. Like, I never seen kids commit suicide so young and take it. It's just getting crazy. It's the sign of the Lord's return.
I think last week I read there was a 11-year-old boy hung himself because he was bullied, and that's 11 years old. Why is that even in his mind to do that? That's not something I know I never thought of at that age, and I really didn't see it until I was in the military. I didn't see it firsthand, people doing it, and it's a very bad leap to do. I said in the beginning, don't make a permanent solution out of a temporary problem. There's always someone that can help you, and you're one of those people now that are able to help them, because you went to the brink of the darkness basically, and that wreck with the person that hit you in the car, that brought you to where you are now, and the ability to help others. And I know you're thankful for that. Your family's thankful for that, because without that, they wouldn't be here.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then also, like, I actually dealt with suicide. I remember just when my first marriage didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out, I fell into like a suicidal state, and I actually was in a suicide ward. And I just remember, I forgot her title, but I don't want to call her a life coach, but some kind of therapist. She asked me, she said, "What is your will to live? 1 through 10. And I said a 0, right? I was crazy, right? And I said a 0. And I just remember, like, since being in the suicide ward, I couldn't leave my room. So what happened was, when I did leave my room, there was a bookcase. That's all I can do was read a book. So the book that I picked up, the name of the book was called Doing His Time, talking about God's time. Right. So it was all about God's love and his mercy. And as I began to read this book, I just began to encounter God, right there. And that was like the pivotal point in my life. And I said, you know what? I can live. It's work that I have to do. I have 2 children. What am I doing? It's just like God gave me another chance. He gave me a desire to live again. And then from that moment, that's when he pushed me to start preaching his word. And I was like, I don't want to preach, God. I ran from the calling for so long. But it's like, we can't wrestle with God, because he will win every time.
Yeah, you're not going to win the battle in that, because he holds all the cards, and we're supposed to just play them and do what you're supposed to do the right thing. And I believe he has given you that path, the right lane to be in now, instead of, like you said, there was a whole empty lane and that woman hit you, and it was that happened for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And I'm glad that you were able to walk away, and you're here in front of us now, and able to write 47 books and start your publishing company and help others to publish their books. So when you publish your books, I know most of yours are on the word of the Lord, or now a cookbook coming out soon, of course. How did you start your business, and do you envision it as helping all young authors or all aspiring authors?
Yeah. So I started it when I was asking for that seed, and right. God gave me that idea. So then he began to send people, because I had no idea what I was doing. So I began to do research how to do it, and I got the necessary funds. And during that time, I was going through financial challenges. Like, I had just got terminated from my job. I didn't know how I was going to make it. And then he gave me this idea. I said, okay, God, where's the money going to come from? So I said, okay, if I do this business, will you give me the money? He gave me the money. So I had enough money to buy like, the ISBN numbers, for each books. And then I had enough money to get licensed through the state and everything else, my paperwork. And then it was just from there. So I also do training for inspiring authors as well. So people are like, how do you write a book? So I spent hours and hours and hours developing like classes and courses to help people to, get their book out. And it's actually part of my ministry. I treat their books like it's my book. So
Right.
I'm very passionate about it. Yes.
That's good. It becomes kind of like your baby, even though it's their baby, and it becomes the village trying to help that baby grow. And I'm sure you smile each time one of them get on the charts and they get their book out there. They do their first book signing, and they thank you right away as their publisher.
Yes,
I'm sure that brings that
very
joy.
Rewarding.
Yeah.
Yes, very rewarding work.
Even though
it's hard work.
Yes,
but it's rewarding.
I was about to say it's hard work, and I know your life is selfless now, but I'm sure you still have a little self joy at that time when that book comes out. Even when your own books come out and they go across the screen and they're on the top seller or in the bestseller, any list. Say, hey, that's my book right there. I put hard work into that, and that's out there.
Yes.
And you put that pat on the back and say, good job. Let's keep moving forward.
Yes, and I actually started writing through my pain because it was like it's therapeutic. So I just remember being suicidal, broken, depressed. So I just began to just write. And then one day I looked like what happened when I first started writing. Let me go back. First guy said, you going to write a blog, do a blog. And I said, a blog. So I stepped out in faith and I got a website and I started blogging. And then when I got done with the website, he said, okay, take that content and put it into a book. So I was like, okay. So I did it and I stepped out in faith and I put my first book out. And then he gave me a list of 21 books. I said, 21 books. So I actually did that. And I think I finished the 21 books in like 2017, those 21 books. And then, he's like, you're not done yet. So he kept giving me book after book after book. So, okay, God. So it's just like, we can't put a limit on God. He just downloads and he just pours and he causes us to impact people's lives.
He does. And like you said, if you've seen the signs like you did, you wrote 21 books by the time you were 2017 came around, and 25 since then. That's in 5 years, or 26 since then. I'm sorry. So that's a lot of books in just a short period of time, and a lot of you probably got some carpal tunnel going on, all that typing. And so I guess chopping stuff up, cooking kind of stretches that out a little bit.
Oh, yes.
So what's your process when you write a book? Do you just shut down everything else and just write? Or is there like a time of day you go into your quiet space and just write?
Yeah, so I find myself, I can write a lot if I just put like some soft worship music on, just low, and then get in the presence of God, because he causes us to flow. Like I rarely get writer's block because I just focus on him and he gives me the ideas and I just type out what he just puts in my spirit to write down. So I try to set goals. So when God gives me like writing assignments, like actually I have a book collaboration right now, and the book collaboration we're going to have, it's like maybe 10 authors that join me to write in my book. The name of the book is called Tested, Tried, But I Survived. And with that book, I say, okay, God, I got a writing assignment. So I actually wrote like maybe 5 chapters in like a day. I just spent the day. So he just give me a deadline, but I tried to like set like maybe writing a chapter a day, like for my regular books. That's how I used to do it, because you have to try to balance everything with like ministry and, homework with the children and taking care of your house and other things. So I say set like maybe a chapter a day. I like to write like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning when it's quiet, or maybe before I go to bed, because I can get a lot done because the children are asleep and I can just focus, after prayer. So that's how my writing schedule looks.
It's structured. You like the structure of doing things, and that I can see it works for you, and that's great stuff. So if an aspiring author, it comes up to you and says, Kimberly, I seen you wrote 47 books. What 3 things could I do to make myself a better writer and get my books out there?
Yeah, so I will tell them to invest in like editing software, because it's great to have that extra. I use Grammarly. Grammarly is awesome. and they got a free version, they got the paid version. And that has taught me how to write better. And it has taught me also to edit better. So, and I will tell them, number 2, to read a lot of books. Read. If you're going to write, you need to learn how to read, because as you read different books, you pick up different vocabulary and you learn different things. So I learned so much by reading just other books. And then number 3, just the research. And I can give you 4 as well. Be confident. Yes, because I meet a lot of people that just not confident. Like, they're dealing with shame and they're afraid of what people think about their past, but you can't worry about that. Just your book has to glorify God. That's why I just be transparent and tell it, because I'm like, I'm not that person anymore. Like, this is what God has done for me. And now I have fellowship with the Holy Spirit and it feels good. It's no more shame. There's no more depression. I walk in freedom and I walk in peace. And it's all because of him, because I decided to tell my testimony, because when we tell our testimony, the enemy is overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. So I just say, be confident, and it's about glorifying God.
It's outstanding advice. I use Grammarly right now as I'm pursuing my PhD as well. It helps me get through every one of my papers, because otherwise my papers would not make it very far. And so I definitely promote Grammarly to people right now. Free version is perfect for me right now. I'm sure the paid version gives you some extra things that can help you out. Yes, so, Kimberly, how can someone get in contact with you if they want to send you a manuscript or even just chat with you?
Yeah, so you can go to my publishing website, and it's at republishing.org, republishing.org, and you can contact me there. You can contact me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Prophetess Kimberly Moses. I'm on YouTube too, so it's my name on YouTube, Kimberly Moses. Yes.
Nice. So you're everywhere. It's good. And I'll add these links to the show notes so they can just click on them and reach out and get in touch with you, so they can get their stories out there and follow the right path.
Yes.
So thanks, Kimberly, for taking some of your time this evening to share your story with us and your journey. Good luck on your next 47 books.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I received that.
You know how we do this. Thanks for taking some of your time to spend with us on Fit Nation. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and share the link as much as possible. If you want to, please become a supporter to help us carry this thing on. We appreciate you. If you know someone that brings that energy, has a great story, is an up-and-comer in the industry of music, in the arts, have them reach out to us on themisfitnation.com. We will get back to them within one day and get them on here so they can share their story with the world. As always, till next time, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Fit Nation.